All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And today I want to talk to you about the one thing I think you can do to really change the results you're getting in your life. In other words, one single strategy that can change everything. But before we start talking about that, I want to ask you a question. How are you doing so far this year? You know, sometimes we just get on, I kind of riff with strategies and ideas and tactics, different formulas and things you can use for success. But I really want to ask you, and I want you to really ask yourself this question. Are you getting the results that you want in your life so far this year? We're getting towards the end of January, and I know some of you have actually reached out to me and said that you're feeling kind of stuck. You're not feeling very productive. You're not as far along as you think you should have been. You're not quite sure why. But I want you to ask yourself the question, how are you doing? And what is the reason that you're feeling the way that you're feeling? I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you're feeling? Are you feeling a lack of clarity? Are you feeling like your results are not where you want them to be? Are you not happy with the type of things that you're doing? Maybe the activities that you have in your business or in your life in general. What is it that's making you feel this way? What is it that you're feeling? Are you feeling that lack of passion or purpose? Maybe you're not motivated. Maybe you're not sure if you're on the right direction or the right, path towards, accomplishing and creating the goal that you want and the life that you want to live. But really, I also want you to ask yourself, what is it that's holding you back? Why aren't you getting the results that you need to get? Now, I want you to ask yourself that question because it could be the people that you're surrounding yourself with. It could be that it's more than just the path that you're on. Maybe it's something that you need to do that's a little bit different. Maybe you don't know what the answer is. Maybe you're looking for solutions and answers, or you're just caught up in that treadmill in your mind. You know what I'm talking about, the one where you just constantly thinking and analyzing and trying to figure out what to do. But I want you to ask yourself that question because I also want to point out a couple of things. First of all, I've found out in my life that thinking is not going to create the solutions most of the time. It's action that's going to help you to do that. So many times we sit down and we think, I'm going to figure out what I need to do next. I need to figure out what it is that's holding me back. I need to figure out what I need to do differently, who I need to surround myself with, what thing I need to be working on. And what we're doing is we're losing track of the real picture. We really don't have perspective. And so we got to remind ourselves that progress to perfection is the key, not perfectly achieving, but achieving to perfection. And what I mean by that is that progress is the key. Productivity is the key. Taking action is the key. You find your answers on the way to getting results. You don't find the answers to get results. Does that make sense? And so I want to talk to you about what I believe is probably one of the best strategies that you can apply, and that's this idea of the mastermind. It's the solution and the reason that I created the Daily Mastermind. I created the Daily Mastermind for myself so that I could find ways to have daily focus on what matters most. I talked about that a little bit on the new Franklin Planner podcast that we're launching. I did a strategic alliance with the Franklin Planner organization, and it gave me some great reminders that you've got to find ways to create daily focus on what matters most. And so the purpose of the mastermind for me was to have a time and a place that I could go for 5 to 10 minutes and focus on mind, body, money, business, creating the life and the lifestyle that I want to create to start my day. For me, it was starting the day. It's the bookends of starting the day and ending the day right that really helped me to feel fulfilled, passionate, purpose-filled. And so my experience was, and I'll just give you kind of a little bit of feedback from me, that it was podcasts. Podcasts were a way for me to just jump in and start listening and hearing and associating and creating my own mastermind. See, that's one of the benefits we have nowadays that you forget about. We have the benefit that we can actually mastermind with some of the top minds, the top ideas, the top solutions. We can gain more perspective. So I started listening to podcasts in the mornings, and I wasn't maybe I started out looking for some particular solutions, And there are days when I have my, list of top podcasts I'll kind of shuffle through, whether it's work or business or, it might be, perspective, spirituality, mindfulness. But the ideas and solutions and perspective that came from podcasts were really helpful for me. And what I learned is that most of the answers that I got were not ones I was looking for. Even just this morning, for example, I listened to a podcast from Russell Brunson, and all he was doing was really giving his perspective on what some things are that he's gone through. And so when you create a mastermind, when you create this, and that's why I have this daily mastermind, is that you can find ways to relate, not just get strategies and tactics, but relate to what's happening in your life. And I created the mastermind in order to give you strategies, tips, inspiration, motivation for mind, body, money, business, and lifestyle, because those are all areas, the core areas that I feel will help bring you more fulfillment and create the life that you were meant to live. Because remember, the randomness of these topics also can line up with timing. The timing of what you're going to have and what you're going to do is super, super important, because sometimes you don't know what you're looking for, but the timing and the things line up. And so all of these core areas are important, and the mastermind provides reminders and lessons and mentorship. The idea is that for 25 years, I've been around some of the biggest thought leaders and experts out there, and I want to share some of those ideas and things with you. But more important than anything, it's about timing. Sometimes those things will line up in the right time for you. And so the key to be able to find ways like the Daily Mastermind to be able to help you to create progress to perfection is to create habits around a daily ritual, because consistency is the most important thing. Let me explain to you what I mean. We all need to make decisions and commitments to achieve our best life. You've made a decision you want to accomplish something in your life, and hopefully you've made a commitment to do that. Because making a decision is not enough. We know that. Making a commitment to your decision is far more important. But what trumps all of that is consistency. Consistency is really the key to persevering and creating results in the end. But the only way you can stay consistent is to make a habit of it. Without consistency, your will, your motivation, it can't maintain, it can't sustain, because you're going to have days you don't feel like doing things. So habits will create consistency. As you can see, that's why I call it the Daily Mastermind. I have worldwide trademarks to Daily Mastermind, because I believe it's a daily, consistent effort you need to put in order to create your best life. But I'm here to tell you that it takes creating a habit, and that means you've got to create boundaries. You've got to create parameters in your life that are non-negotiables. And I like to call those daily rituals. The book by Gary Keller called The One Thing is one that I refer back to many times. And The One Thing talks about the idea that you need to find the one domino that, if you can knock that down, will knock down all the other dominoes, if you know what I'm talking about from that analogy. In other words, what's the one thing that if you do it, it makes everything else happen or everything else irrelevant? And, I used to think, for example, for myself, it was a workout in the morning. The workouts would get my mind going, to get my body going. And, when I was feeling good about myself, even more things would go right during the day. But as I dug a little bit deeper, I realized, and that's why I told you I started to double down on podcasts, because the podcasts were actually a catalyst, a domino, to help me start turning on my mind, getting positive. So sometimes, things outside of ourselves, right? Listening to experts and mentors and motivators. Some mornings it might be David Goggins, who's, really hardcore. And other mornings it might be like a Joel Osteen or someone that's a little bit more laid back. But when you're prepared, because you have to know and you have to prepare yourself. That's another suggestion I have. Find ways to be prepared ahead of time. So when you don't feel like it, you will act in spite of your mood. But find the one thing that you can create consistency with, and know yourself. So many of us are putting this big, pressure on ourselves to do mindset, journal, prayer, meditation, workout, meals, nutrition, all these things, when you need to find that one thing. Now, for me, it was the Daily Mastermind. For many of you, it's the same thing. It's being able to just associate with someone, something, ideas, strategies, things that will take you to the next level. And so I really believe that if you'll tune into some form of masterminding, whether it's a podcast, whether it's the Daily Mastermind, whether it's individuals in your life, and create some consistency around that ritual, that one thing, that you'll start to see a lot of changes in your life. And I want you to remind yourself that it's not finding the answer. It's progressing and being productive and active and consistent, and you'll find the answers along the way. So remember that. And here's my final reminder for you this morning. It only takes one key thought or idea to have a breakthrough. One key thought or idea to have a breakthrough. It might be a daily breakthrough. It might be in your life. It might be in the year. But that right idea or key thought has to line up with the timing as well. And the only way you can have that happen is through consistency. Sometimes I've heard ideas over and over and over again. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. But when the timing was right, it resonated. And when I look back on that, like Wayne Dyer talks about looking back on the tapestry of your life, it gave meaning to the fact that it was the timing that really made it happen. It wasn't the idea. And so stop getting caught up with the ideas and start working on consistency and the one thing that will help you to go to the next level. And I truly believe the mastermind is one of those things, because being in a mastermind, whether it's the Daily Mastermind, our online mastermind, whether it's your own personal mastermind in your area, it's the influence of others, the influence of ideas and strategies and timing that will keep you consistent, will allow you to persevere until you find the solutions and strategies. Because I truly believe that most of the solutions that you need, you already have inside you. They just have not been triggered yet. They've been not pulled out yet. You haven't had the right timing happen yet. So the final thing I'm going to leave you with is take the focus off yourself and place it on something outside of yourself that will help you to stay consistent. Maybe it's your mission. Maybe it's a purpose. Maybe it's other people. But most of the time, when you're focused on you, that's when you're caught up in all those negative emotions or the things that hold you back or the self-limiting beliefs or the, imposter syndrome or whatever it is. Take the focus off yourself and find a way to create daily rituals that keep you consistent. Promise you, you will start seeing results. Stop looking for the end goal. Start thinking about the consistency of the path. That's my message for you today. I hope you have an amazing day. Do me a favor and actually, if you haven't already, go head over to the Apple or the Android store and download the Evolution X Mastermind mobile app. It's free. The Evolution X Mastermind mobile app. It's a new mobile app that we are launching that is a free mastermind. Now, we'll have some paid sections of that if you want to join our academy or our mentoring, things like that. But there is going to be a ton of resources in there, access to both, or actually 2 or 3 of our podcasts, a lot of courses, free authority marketing stuff. There's a ton of things there. I hope that, whether it's the Daily Mastermind or the Evolution X Mastermind mobile app, will be some resources that will help you. And that's why I do it. So I hope you have an amazing day. Share this show. It would mean a lot to me, and I appreciate you, and I'll talk with you more tomorrow.